My name is Lori. I'm almost 50. I had a stroke in 2020. When I had my stroke, I actually didn't know that I'd had a stroke that instant. It was in the morning, happened to be a day off of my work. I got up to go to the bathroom. For some reason, I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. And then when I could get up, I ended up getting my son to tell him I wasn't feeling well. Apparently, he took one look at me and was like, "Oh yeah, let's go." I wasn't at the hospital very long, and the neurologist came to get me actually, and she said, "Yeah, you've had a stroke. We're keeping you." It felt long because it was during COVID, so of course when I was in the hospital, I couldn't believe they only kept me 9 days, and then they sent me home. But I think there's more because they needed the beds. A lot of it was they had to set me up to outpatient rehab at the hospital, and then they had to set me up to do stuff at home because I couldn't do a lot of it there because of COVID. And then I was just going to get tested to see how far I was going and that type of thing. I was pretty busy. I worked a lot. I'm a single parent, so I did a lot of things at home for my kids and stuff like that too, and that type of thing. And heading my youngest into her final years of high school. So I've lived in Victoria area my whole life. So yeah, and I was working before. I had just switched jobs actually. I was at my new job, probably not even 6 weeks, and I had my stroke. I got connected to finish from the outpatient rehab at Victoria General Hospital because it was the next step to going to them. So you were the outside portion of what they do, I guess. So it's my getting together with people because I don't get together with like family members or friends outside of, because they're all busy. They all have their lives before. I get frustrated a lot easier. I used to have a lot more patience than I do now. I have like no patience now in comparison. I don't get out and do things like I used to be able to do. And so a lot of my recovery was within the complex that I lived in. So, because I didn't have the equipment at home, nor did I have a space big enough to bring equipment in. So we all did what I needed to do. So I just get used to walking around in the complex and things like that. I don't think a lot of people really want to hang out with me as much as they used to because they don't understand. They thought that I should go back to the way I was. That's what a lot of people think, right? You go back to the way you were. It's like, it doesn't work that way. Just because I was sent home after 9 days in the hospital doesn't mean I was cured and I should be able to go do anything. That getting them to realize that it's very, like, not being able to do as much as I did in my day, like it's much more tiring because the brain's tiring down. As the person who has the injury, it's hard to realize that as well, but getting other people to realize that, just because I'm at home doesn't mean that I'm doing nothing. I have to do certain amounts of things, pace it out, If they'd known about brain injury altogether, I think people just need to know more. Just need to know more that it's still there. Just because somebody looks fine doesn't necessarily mean that they are. Like, I have to verbally remind people or tell people, like, this I am not able to do, or I don't have this part of, this part of my brain is not working properly to have me do that. But I think more with when people more understand it. Like I have a lot of, I used to work at places that had the diversity, but now that I had a brain injury, they don't have diversity. They just know how to work with somebody that is in a wheelchair or providing handicapped parking spaces. They don't know how to deal with somebody that's got a brain injury. They would just think that they'd be difficult. And I've worked in those situations and had that training, and I could tell you that the training for people with brain injuries is not there. And it should be. People don't acknowledge they don't acknowledge a brain injury. So unless they actually see something, they don't. They just think you're being difficult. Difficult doesn't necessarily mean being difficult. Difficult by what society thinks is difficult isn't a brain injury, right? I hope that there would be more education in brain injury so that it makes it a lot easier in the future for people, and that people realize that you're not the same as you were before. I think most people just need to realize that everybody with brain injury are not the same. Like, everybody's brain injury isn't going to be the same, so they're not going to get better the same. They're not going to be like they were before. Your family members friends, people that know you or don't know you, just, the ones that know you or are your friends, but just realize that it's going to be a new you, and they're going to have to adjust to the new you, and just the same as you are.